Started.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sitecore User Group Mentors and Mentee. And today we are presenting on elevating digital experience with Sitecore Search by Anish Pachori and also Praveen Sharma. I will give for the speakers to let them introduce and start with the session. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, over to you.
Development. Okay, so in today's session, we will start with the walkthrough of Sitecore Search, its all features, how we can configure those and then integrate into the front-end application. So my name is Anish. I'm working at Horizontal. I have total 5+ years of experience. Working on various technologies like Sitecore Headless, XXA, and XM Cloud Search. This is my email ID. They'll be linked in blog post and blog post link. You can reach out to me here.
Can we do the slideshow so that it will be bigger?
Uh, Actually, that's having a bit issue on my machine, so it's not able to do slideshow. I tried it earlier.
Okay.
No worries, we can carry on.
Yeah.
And make it.
Yeah, I think zooming in is much visible.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah. Myself Praveen Sharma. I am a Sitecore consultant at Deloitte and I am also Sitecore Technology MVP 2025. Having 4.5 years of experience as a Sitecore developer, I am very proficient in various Sitecore technology, Sitecore tech like Sitecore versions and Sitecore include SXA, headless architecture, XM Cloud, and nowadays I am also exploring Sitecore Search. I am very passionate about reading, writing, and blogging. Yeah, here is my Deloitte email ID and my LinkedIn profile. You can reach out to me over there. Yeah, here is also my blog post link where I am writing and publishing blogs, so you can check over there. So moving forward, let's start with our agenda. So yeah, in this session, we will explore how Sitecore Search is powerful and SaaS-based solution for intelligent content discovery. We will introduce the core features and benefits of Sitecore Search, which is including advanced relevancy, analytics, and the developer tooling. After that, we will examine the Sitecore Search architecture, workflow, and understand how content is delivered to across channel with the help of Sitecore Search. So in this session, attendees will also learn how to get started with CEC Portal from initial setup to configuring Sitecore Search experience. This session will have also include live demo and the visual walkthrough of Sitecore Search with the followed by an interactive question answer to address your specific question and challenges. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat section. We will try to address at the last of this session. Moving forward, we will discuss about the Sitecore Search. So yeah, Sitecore Search is a smart and AI-powered tool that help people to find content more easily on the website and the app. So Sitecore Search uses feature like predictive search, suggestion as you type. So with the help, we are making Sitecore Search more faster and easier for the user. So Sitecore Search is modern search tool which work with the help of the APIs. So yeah, Sitecore Search is much smarter than the older Sitecore Search tool because it just look not for the keyword. It is using the AI behind the scenes, and we are getting best result with the help of the Sitecore Search. So Sitecore Search help marketers and developer to create better, more personalized search experience for website, portal, and apps. So in short, we can say that Sitecore Search help user to find content quickly and accurately, and businesses can adjust how search work and fit for their goals. So we can access Sitecore Search with the help of CEC Portal. Now moving forward to the CEC Portal introduction. So yeah, CEC Portal is the main part of the Sitecore Search where we are doing all the configuration. User can manage their content and we can run A/B test. We can analyze search performance with the help of CEC Portal. We can configure rules. We can test API integration. Apart from that, the CEC Portal help user to explore the API and test the API with the help of API Explorer, and we can search and We can test the search and recommended API with the help of also CEC Portal in API Explorer. So we can also search for products, manage the content collection, and monitor analytics with the help of CEC Portal. So business user can use the CEC Portal to set search rule, create new way for the user to find content, check how well search is working. So CEC Portal help user to improve user engagement, deliver the right content based on real results. So mainly developer can use CEC Portal to set up and test Sitecore Search API because it making it easy and better for digital platforms search results. So now moving forward to the key features of the Sitecore Search. The key features of Sitecore Search include AI-driven personalization, like semantic search capability, multilingual support, robust indexing for the fast search. So Sitecore Search is a SaaS-based platform that offering a search as a service approach with the help of headless architecture, SDK, REST API. So Sitecore Search enabling brand to deliver high relevant content and personalized user experience across multiple channels. So when we talk about the AI powered features, so Sitecore Search using behind the scenes semantic search, which use AI and machine learning to understand the context and relationship between words, providing more relevant result than simple keywords. So in Sitecore Search, we are also having AI assisted personalization that tailor content, sorting, promotion based on the user behavior, location, purchase history, and the interaction. In Sitecore Search, we are also having predictive search, so which help us to offer instant suggestion. Also, predictive search functionality help user to find what they need faster. We are also having AI robust indexing that efficiently analyze and sort content metadata, ensuring quick and effective search. So in Sitecore Search, when we talk about the multilingual, so Sitecore Search support multilingual by default. Multilingual support allow for searching, displaying content in various languages and regions, ensuring consistent and relevant experience for global audience. Sitecore Search in we are having a headless architecture which provides flexibility to deliver personalized search experience across various platforms and channels. Sitecore Search is a SaaS-based platform which includes search features, AI capabilities for analyzing user behavior. So these are all about the key features of the Sitecore Search. So far so good. Now Anis will explain the CEC portal.
Okay, so coming to the architecture of the CEC portal. Uh, so as you can see in the diagram, this is the main core architecture of CEC portal. So as you can see, the sections, it's like it provides set of REST APIs, sources, crawlers. So the REST APIs, like it includes the search and recommendation API, events API, ingestion API. So let's talk one by one about this, like search and recommendation APIs. So these are something the endpoints which CEC provides, which interacts with the external source. Like for example, the in the diagram you can see like we have some external source of a web domain. So from that it will uh, crawl that particular source information and store that crawled information into the search, the CEC search portal. Uh, then that particular information will be stored and then can be served to any of the external platform wherever you want to consume. Similarly, it provides the ingestion API through which you can push your content through this endpoint. Like other than the schedule, your this other than your source, like if you want to have some additional the additional source, and that is something like other than your crawlers scheduled, and in that case if you want to push that, you can make use of ingestion API, and through that you can push your content to this CEC portal. It makes use of this API push source, so through that it will that particular information can be stored in the CEC portal. And yeah, as mentioned, as it shows, like we can schedule the crawler. So if once the setup is done, you can set the crawler timer. So within that particular time, it will again go to that source, crawl that information, fetch it, store it, and then again the wherever it's mapped in the front end application, that particular information will be served. So this is how the setup works. Uh, so yeah, moving on to the next, getting started with CEC. So here we will walk through about to the CEC portal. So we'll walk through all those options which it provides, like admin section, the developer API section, sources, content collection, global resources, analytics, widgets, pages, uh, and the site performance section. So let's go to the CEC portal. So once you are logged in, so first you have to get your account created. So once you have your account, you can log into the CEC portal. And once you are logged in, this is the home page where you would land. So here you can see this is the general information it provides. So I'll start with the admin section. Uh, so before going there, either from here or in the general setting, anywhere you will find this basic information about the company ID and domain ID, which are the basically useful ID when you integrate into the front end. So to this will come at the later stage. So in the general settings, let's explore this. So here you find all the basic information about your host, domain, and then these IDs. Uh, entities. So entities, what are entities? Like it's basically the grouping. So in search CEC search portal, basically everything whatever you create, like that sources or attributes, all this whatever you create, these are basically grouped into entities. So by default, Sitecore search comes with a default entity called content entity. So in the content entity itself, again it comes with a set of default attributes. We'll come to the attributes when we go there, but it comes with a set of attributes that basically what are the entities and attributes is like something you get the information from your source, and those information you want to store in your CC. So how it will work, it will fetch that information, and then particular fields, or like you are fetching JSON or through XML, then you have HT, uh, or like sitemap XML, then a particular page will have a HTML DOM, and from that DOM what information you want to fetch, that you will define, and where you will store, that's called the attribute. So that attribute is basically where that fetched value is mapped. Then we have locales here. You can configure the languages. So if your uh, search which you are configuring from the source, it's in multilingual. So in that case, you have to configure the languages here. Then only it will allow to store those crawled information into the search portal. And yeah, these are more just general information which we can explore. Coming to the attributes, so as I mentioned, everything in search portal is basically grouped by entities. So here you can see the filter. So if I go to the content entity, you can if you have come as a fresh portal when there is nothing created, that time you will find only limited few default attributes already created. But as we have multiple sources and everything created, so we have like the custom attributes created. So as per your requirement, you can create the attributes. So let's explore how we can create the attributes. So as I mentioned, we have to select the first entity, provide the name of the attribute, then select the data type. So from your source where you are fetching that information, the data that you are fetching can be in any format, like it's not possible it will be just a string. So in that case, we can select that appropriate data type based in which we are basically getting the information. Like in JSON it will be like maybe getting integer or float value. So based on that, we can just select the appropriate data types here, uh, provide just some general information descriptions, and then coming to this checkboxes configuration things. So if you mark any field as required, so in that case what happens, like uh, if you mark a field as required and that particular field is not available when you are crawling from a source, in that case that information will not be crawled. So while creating attribute, you have to make sure if you want to make any field as required or not. Because if you have once marked it as required, and that particular URL from like sitemap XML is getting crawled, and that if that field is not present, then it will not be crawled and will not be stored in CC Portal. Similarly, the return in API response. So this again, you should check in gen as a basically like a default. You should check. Otherwise, this field value will not be served when you integrate into your front end. So quick look in CC, again, this is the same kind of like when you go to API Explorer and all, you want to use that attribute to explore with that and play with that attribute. If you don't check this checkbox, this attribute will not be available to you to test it. available for rules and page heart refreshing, available for site context. This again for when you create widgets rules. That time uh, we create rule basically based on attributes other than the default provided options. So if you want to create rules based on certain attribute, and if that checkbox is not checked, then this attribute will not be available when you create that widget rules. Uh, so that's why these all checkboxes are you have to check as per your requirement. Coming to the features, so the attributes that we create, as I mentioned, like based on those attributes, basically we search in the search which we get on the which we see on the website which, finally in that basically we can define based on what attribute we want to perform certain actions. Like if I enable attribute for facet, then that attribute will be available for me to be available as a filtering option in the panel. Like for example, if I go to some of one of the uh, develop this documentation which Sitecore provides. So basic, if I go to search result, so it comes with a uh, option of this filtering. So select any, if you want to allow any attribute to be available for filtering, or you want to allow to be that attribute to be available as a filtering option here. In that case, you have to select that checkbox here. Then only that attribute will be available for this particular feature. Similarly, search ranking. Uh, if you check that checkbox, then this attribute will be used for boosting the search result. So if you are getting results, the same keyword, if result you are getting in multiple fields, like in the title, in description of another search result item, if the same keyword is present, then which one will be boosted or which one will be visible first? That's what the search ranking defines. Personalization, again, the based on which attribute you want to perform the personalization, that you can configure. Sorting, similarly, like based on that attribute, if you allow that attribute to be available for that feature, then it will be available when you create widget. This attribute will be available for you to be available to configure as a sorting option. Similarly, textual relevance. So when you search in the search box, based on which in field, basically when you are crawling, you are storing information of title, description, subtitle, subheading, multiple fields you are storing, right? So when you search here, so based on which particular field you want to allow this to be matched in the search result, that's what you defined by allowing this textual relevance of that attribute. Suggestion block. So again, this again depends on the type of widget that you use. Suggestion blocks, for example, in the previous section we have seen that or weightage, you want to configure the suggestions to be available. This whole configuration you can perform here. So this is what you can perform configure while creating the attribute. Again, coming to the feature configuration, it is again the same things. Those same feature configurations you can perform, but like later on, if you have once created and later on you want to in addition to what you created earlier and later on you want to configure, you can come here always and change the settings and enable the attribute for a particular feature. So for example, if I want to enable a attribute for sorting options, I can come here, add attribute, select that attribute, and yeah, it will be available here for me to be selected as a sorting option. And then you can apply additional here you can provide additional settings like best how you want to sort when it performs it sorting, like analyzer and sorting order and all these configurations you can provide here. So this is mostly about this domain features and attributes. Users is like sections, like you can invite any user once you have the. So it is again based on the role. Tag admin has the highest privilege role. So if you have tag admin role, you can always invite any user and have access to all the features. And the user will have the lowest privilege. So as per the requirement, you can create and invite user based on a particular role. Now, uh, let's explore the sources. So sources is basically the main thing where, as I mentioned, from where you want to crawl the information from. That's what you define here in the sources. So uh, how to create a source is you can provide a source name, provide a norm description, connectors. So now coming to the connectors, so you get in CEC Portal, basically it provides a set of connectors, like how and from where, how you want to fetch the information. So like for example, if my source is some JSON endpoint, from there I want to fetch the information, then I can always go with the connector like API crawler. So as the description mentions here, if your content is accessible by API endpoint, we can go with API crawler. Similarly, we have web crawler, web advanced crawlers, API push. As I mentioned, it is used with ingestion API to when you want to push something through ingestion API to the Sitecore Search portal, you can go with API push. Web crawler, if you are using, for example, a website sitemap XML, and through that you want to fetch the information, and your website is in a single language, that case you can go with web crawler. If it's in multiple language, you can go with advanced web crawler. It provides option for configuring multiple languages. So we'll explore this API crawler, web crawler, and advanced crawler, each one by one. So I've already created a web crawler, for example. So that was generally step, like you have to select the crawler and it will create the your source. Coming to here, once it is created, you can always just get into the details of it. So it provides this basic information, high level information. This is the source ID, which is again useful when you integrate into the front end. So that when we fetch the information, it will be fetched from this particular source. We'll come to this later on, where we will use these IDs. Uh, then it provides the last run status, last when it ran and when it crawled that information from that source. This general information, as I mentioned, like we use web crawler, under which entity, content entity I have created. So these all general informations are here. Coming to the attribute extraction section. So this is what is about, like, as I mentioned, we created attributes, right? So, and these are the fields, like what we are fetching from our source. So how we want to fetch. So if I have used a web crawler, so web crawler provides me this type of extraction mechanisms. Either I can provide a fixed value, or I can have a XPath or meta tag options. So through that, I can fetch that information. It provides a default 4 to 5 fields to which it will be mapped, but or you can come here and you can modify, always add attribute. You can always add attributes here and map it to that like HTML tag value, or through XPath syntax, which through which you want to fetch that information. You can provide default values. So it again depends, like if you have different type of connectors, you will get different type of extraction mechanisms. That also we'll explore. This is like API, sorry, web crawler. So here we get these 3 type of options. So for example, I am for this attributes, I am providing a fixed value. I can provide a fixed value. This is something like XPath, so I have provided XPath. I'm accessing a OG description of that source, and where you provide that source information. This is the section like web crawler setting, where you provide that source information. So trigger type, this is something, the source, what is your source of information from where you want to fetch that content. So I'm using sitemap, so I have provided the sitemap URL. If yours is something like request, like endpoint, you can provide the endpoint URL here. So it provides options. You can configure any of the trigger type. Uh, and then coming to this field max depth. So this is something like how deep you want to go in that particular URL. If your URL is something like /abc/def, something like that, in that case, how deep you want to allow the crawler to be crawled. So that you can define here in the max depth. Max number of URLs, how many maximum number of URLs you want to be allowed to be crawled. Exclusion patterns, like if you don't want to allow certain page patterns to be crawled, that you can exclude from here. uh, yeah, these are the general configurations that you can do. uh, then coming to the crawler schedule, as I mentioned in the architecture diagram, you can schedule your crawler, how frequently you want to crawl. When you create a source, and just when you create and publish it, that time it will ask you to option to crawl it. So that is the first time. After that, in addition, if you want to auto crawl it, you can come here and set up the configuration about how frequently you want to crawl. Again, a specific date, this one, and then repeat, and how frequently you want to repeat. These all configurations you can do here. These are just like selections, and then based on the particular like how you configure, it will keep on crawling during that time interval. This is the how you configure your source. So similarly, this was about the web crawler. If I go to the API crawler, again, this is the same information, that is general information, the API crawler, um, API crawler settings, the max depth URL, how frequently you want to crawl, the crawler settings and all, crawler schedule setting. These are optional. It's not mandatory. If you want to configure this, you can. Otherwise, it's not mandatory. Trigger. Trigger is the same as we saw there, the attribute extraction. Here it is something like trigger. Since we are using API crawler, so here you don't get that sitemap extraction option because it is API, right? So from API, either you can make a request or through JavaScript you can write and extract the information from your source. So if you select trigger type JS, you have to write some JavaScript code here that you can always go to the site code documentation and it will be like available, a demo code. So we can write it, and from that particular endpoint it will fetch the information. Similarly, if you don't want to go with JS, we have a request URL. You can provide the body API endpoint. uh, uh, that's it, and headers information if anything. This is just the configuration, and then that information will be crawled from that particular API endpoint. Now, after crawling, again, how to store uh, that crawled information. That extraction can be, again, like it can be either extracted through JavaScript or you can extract through JSON. If you are writing through something like JavaScript, add a tagger, it will provide a default some lines of code. Since we are not using this uh, from sitemap, if you are using from API Explorer, you will get data in a JSON format. So everything, whatever you crawl from either from API endpoint or from sitemap XML, everything you will get in this body, response body. After that is the normal JavaScript, how you write. As you see here, we are just writing the body and then getting the meta information, then a particular attribute value. So we are just fetching, and this is the attribute which we created in our uh, s- uh, this search portal. So it's just fetching that information and mapping it to this attributes. So either it is JSON response or this HTML response, everything will be stored here, and you can just map it to your attribute if you are going with JS extractor. If you have JSON, if you are going with JSON path in the tagger, you will get a option to just select your entity again first, and after that you get all the attributes whichever you have created under that entity. So select your attribute, provide either a fixed value or expression, however you want to fix. If you want to provide a fixed value, you can. Otherwise, the expression is how you fetch a JSON value, like the normal way how we extract the JSON value, data dot field dot value. So just provide that, and it will fetch that information and store it to the attribute. This is how you configure your uh, source, and how you crawl information and store it to your CEC search portal. Similarly, one more I'll explain about the advanced web advanced crawler. What difference you get here in comparison to that API crawler or a web crawler? So in addition to the default setting, as I mentioned, when you select the connector, it in the description itself it says if your source is something which is in multilingual, in that case you can go with advanced web crawler. It provides option to configure you multiple languages. So if your source is something which is having information in multiple language, you can go with advanced web crawler and just add the multiple languages in which you want to fetch the information. And yeah, these are the general same configuration about trigger and document extraction and uh, this crawlers settings, and the information again the same way you publish it and crawl it. Everything will be stored in the search portal. So after crawling, where it will be stored? Let's go to the content collection. So once you crawl that information, it will be available in your content collection. So again, this content collection is again grouped by entity. So let's go to the content entity, as I'm always referring to the content entity and creating inside that. So in this content entity, you get all your sources, whichever you have created. So if I go to my source under which I have created, so whatever URLs it crawled, those all URLs are available here, and that those information, whichever fields I mapped in that source in the JS JavaScript that I wrote, those field will are available here. Like in the ID, it mapped ID. This is the like default. It's always mapping a unique ID. It needs a content type is mapped with content type value. Description is mapped with OG description that it fetched from the website. Title, URL, name, everything, whatever I mapped in the JavaScript code, and extracted that value, field value, like that is stored here, and that is fetched from the website and stored here in this field value mapped. So that's what the content collection is all about. Like it crawls information and store in the content collection as a document. Uh, Now coming to the global resources. So global resources are something like the global configurations that you can perform. So let's go to all of these options one by one, like global widget. So global widget is like instead of providing, like when you create a widget, instead of creating widget and providing the basic setup configurations, if you want to do on, and that you want to be available on all of the widget, instead of going to each of widget and creating there, you can perform those kind of configurations on the global widget itself. So coming to the global widget, you can create a variation, or you always need to have at least one variation, that is default one. uh, Inside that, it provides option to create rules. So if you go to the rules, you get these options of configuring the rules at the when the rules will be applied. In that configurations you can perform, you can apply here, either site context level or visitor context level. That again will be explained when we go to the individual to the widget. But this is something like global configurations that you can perform, which will be applicable to all the widgets whatever you create. So these are something like by default available things. So boost rule, bury rules, blacklist rules, this all you can configure here, and they will be available when you create a widget. Again, this features, if you want to configure, you want to enable this, if you enable the suggestion block here, it will be enabled whenever you create a widget. So if you find anything like your this configuration is not enabled, so you have to come here, you can enable it, so it's always available whenever you create a particular widget. This is all about the global configuration that you can perform. Sorry, the global widget configuration that you can perform. Recipes, these are the rules basically which are used by the recommendation widget. So we'll come to the widgets and I explain each of those widgets. So these are the rules basically the recommendation widget uses. So what and how the recommendation widget looks like and it works. Let's see here the recommendation. As you can see, uh, you see all this 6 to 7 or 10, 20 results here. So how and on what basis these results come? That's what you can configure based on these rules. When you create a widget, you can define rules from this recipe available recipes. So like if you want these recommendations to be based on like last 7 days uh, visit, or most recent view revisit, or most liked by that particular user. So based on that, if you want to allow like based on any of the rules you want to allow, that's what the rule you this recipe rules are, and these are used on the recommendation widget when we if we use that recommendation widget on our website. Synonyms are like the duplicate key which we want to allow when a user searches on our uh, search bar. So for example, on my website, if I have search keyword for biotech, for example. As you can see, I have the keyword biotech here. So I get the results for this. Now, since I have configured this one-way synonym for bio, so if I come here and search for the bio, for example, if I search for bio TE, I don't get the result. But if I search for bio, I do get the biotech search results in the in my search results. Why? Because I have configured this one-way synonyms. So if you want, like the users can type like misspell the words and type in the search box. So in that case, if you want to allow the search results to be available to the user even in those with those keywords, that configurations you can do through this synonyms. Again, the two-way synonyms work similarly. Like it's a one-way binding, it's a two-way binding. So when you search bio, it will show the results for biotech. That is one-way synonym. But two-way synonym is like if you search for biotech, then also you get the results for these keywords. And if you search for bio-tech, then also you get the results for biotech. So this is what the one-way and two-way synonyms binding is. Yeah, this is all about this configurations and all. Now coming to the API Explorer. Uh, Once you have created your widget, which will be covered, but since I will explain this API Explorer. So you have created your source widget and everything, and you want to test it here on before integrating to your front end. You can always come here, select your page, enter a page URL widget, select your widget which you have created. Oh, no, it's not showing up. Okay, select your widget, uh, select your entity source. Like I have already created one source under is provide the language, and just this this user information will ask for. Let's build the query and run it. So as you can see, before integrating to your front end, you can always come here and see whether your created source and widgets are properly working or not. So here you can see I'm getting the results. I have set the limit of maximum number of search to 16, and I'm getting all these results with all the fields. So that means my the source and the widgets are configured properly, and it's working fine, and I can integrate to the front end. So this is the kind of a validation that you can perform here. And just one more thing, like ingestion API, which I mentioned. So it is, as I mentioned, like it is something which you can use to push your if you want to push other than the schedule crawler, your content to the search portal. You can make use of this ingestion API. Uh, yeah. So this is the URL which I took from there, and then you have to provide the domain ID, which I explained. This is available, which is available on your profile level, and the source to which you want to push, entity, under which entity, and the language, and provide a unique ID and the fields which you want to push. If I make it unique ID and push it, see, I got response true, and this incremental upgrade, it created one item in my source. So you can always come to this source content collection, and it may take some time, but here in the processing, you can see it's creating one item. So once it is created, it will be available in your content collection. So under whichever source you have created, go to that source and you will be able to find this particular item will be created. Yeah, this is all about this all options. Yeah.
So
Praveen,
yeah, let me start with the site performance tab. So yeah, this is the first tab of CEC Portal. This is basically the one type of analytics dashboard where we will have all the own kind of information like how many people visited, how many pages they look at, how many action they taken. So it show live numbers of about your website like visits, page view, request, and conversion. So with the help of this tab, you can quickly see how well your website is working and spot your problem right away. So as you can see in the screen, there are various types of filters are available. With the help, you can filter the data, like with the help of days, with the help of entities, devices, app type, country. channel, and visitor. So yeah, all these filters are available over there on the site performance tab. So yeah, with the help of all these filters, you can filter out your data. So yeah, it is especially for helpful for the marketing team who want to see how well the campaign are going on, and they can adjust the rules and the configuration in the CEC portal according to their requirement and the feedback they are getting. So yeah, this is all about the site performance tab. Now moving forward, we can go with the page tab. So yeah, in this page tab, we can create new pages. We can manage our existing pages. So these all page hold widget that show search results. So in this section, you can create page, or we can do changes in the existing pages. So as you can see in the screen, on the page tab, we can see all the existing pages are available which we have created earlier. So once you click on an existing page, so there are multiple options are available like page variation, page setting. So in Sitecore Search, every page has its latest at least one variation which is marked as default variation. So variation allow us to customize content, target specific audience, and schedule changes, and we can run A/B test with the help of the page variation. So we can add variation here also. So when we talk about the page setting is nothing but yeah, we can do some configuration like adding page URL. So page URL is your website page where you can show your visits. So you can add variation and you can also add rules over here. So yeah, this is all about the page variation and the page setting. Here you can also create new page. So once you on the page section, there is a one button for the new page. So once you go to page section, yeah, here is we can create pages. So there are multiple options are available like detail page and landing page. So yeah, in Sitecore Search, we can use the detail page for providing context of any item detail page. A detail page include at least one visit which use the item context to make recommendation based on the item currently being viewed. When we and yeah, when we are creating the pages, you need to do some configuration. You need to add the page item name and the URL. You need to provide URL. After that, once you click on the next button, your page will be created and you can see on the pages tab your newly created page. So likewise, you can also create the landing page. So in the page tab, you can manage search page and their different version. So this is all about the pages. When we move to the widget tab, so in the Sitecore Search, widget tab is a main building block where we can configuring the configuring widget. So widget are flexible tool that control how search or recommendation result will work for your website. So in the widget tab, we can create and manage widget which deciding how search results are grouped and display. So this is the primary purpose is to display content retrieved and from the Sitecore search. So as you can see on the screen, there are we can see all the existing widgets which we have created earlier. So once you click on add widget button, so there are 5 types of widget that we can create. So there are 5 types of widget, or once you click on any single like once you click on preview widget, well, we need to provide widget name, we need to provide widget ID, widget variation. So once you will provide all the information, yeah, here we need to provide also page and common across all page. If you want to do something specific for your page, then you will select the page section. Apart from that, you can select common across all page, so it will apply to all the pages. So yeah, these options are available when you are creating any widget. So yeah, once you do all the configuration, your widget will be created and you can see on the widget pages. So when we talk about the preview search widget, so preview search widget is display content using pre-configured words. So there are, Anish, could you please open the developer site? Yeah. So when we talk about the preview search result, so there are basically multiple variants are available as you can see in the screen: basic, left, list, and right panel. So yeah, the template of the basic preview search widget displaying only content has simple structure. And when we talk about the left preview search, the template has the simple structure with the menu option on the left and left of the right keyword navigation. Likewise, we can also create list and right panel. So after that, there is also one type like recommendation widget. So we are using recommendation widget to display customized recommended content to visitors. So the most important part of this recommendation widget is the recipe, which determine the type of recommendation given. So recipe is the most important part in the recommendation widget. So as you can see in the screen, there is also multiple options are available like carousel, gallery, horizontal and vertical. So carousel recommendation widget display item based on previously configured recipes. Likewise, the gallery recommendation also do the same thing like previously configured recipes. They are captured. When we talk about the horizontal and the vertical, so yeah, they are based on the previously configured recipe. Means they are fetching data which we have configured previously. Recommendation widget can display content which is popular among visitors to your site recently viewed by the visitor similar to the content on the current pages. So these type of configuration we can do with the help of recommendation widget. When we talk about the search result widget, so we can use search result widget to display full page search result after a visitor has entered. So there are also three options are available like basic, load more, row grid layout and search input. So a search result widget allow visitor to run keyword search. The response is displayed in the paginated grid or listed. So there are also list type of option available. So there is also two widgets are available which is not shown here like banner widget and HTML block widget. So the widget when we talk about the banner widget, so we are using banner widget for promotions, advertisement, highlighting specific content with images and for images and the text. So it's typically focused on a more structured presentation with defined area of images, title, and description. When we talk about the banner widget, so this is the widget is designed for displaying visual banner, often use of promotions. And HTML widget, we are using the widget provide for more flexibility for displaying custom content. Now, once you click on any existing widget, so there are multiple options are available like widget variation, widget setting, and split testing. So yeah, widget variation in Sitecore Search allow for the creation of different version of widget. Each widget its own specific rule and configuration. When we talk about the widget setting, in widget setting section, we can do configuration for individual widget and their variations. When we talk about the split testing is also known as the A/B testing in Sitecore Search is a method for comparing two or more widget variation to determine which one perform the best against the second one. So in the widget variation section, what we can do, we can add variation. So once we are adding the variation, we can add the rules. So in the widget variation section, once you click on any existing variation and we can add rules.
Let
Yeah.
me open an existing one. So
Yeah.
any search result or one. Yeah.
So yeah, there are multiple of three types of option are available. One is the site context, another one is strategy, and last one is the setting. So when we talk about the site context, so in site courses, rule within the widget variation are applied based on defined context condition. We determine when and do when we take the visits. So site context is the context define the specific location or area within the visit where visitor must be present for the rule of the activity. When we talk about visitor context, so this context specifies criteria related to the visitor themselves. So now move to the strategy part. Yeah. So in strategy, there are multiple types of rules are available: boost, bury, and blacklist. So we can add rule according to our requirement. So like in Boost tool, what we are doing, Boost tool increase the relevancy score for certain items or categories. And when we talk about the bury rule decrease the relevancy score of the item and pushing them toward to the bottom of the search result. And the blacklist result, what we are doing, blacklist rules completely exclude the specified item or category from appearing in the next search result. So these are the rules which we can configure in the widget. And now moving to the setting, there are also some configuration available like facets. So facets allow user to dynamically filter search result based on their attribute value. When we talk about textual relevance, with the help of textual relevance, we can determine how well content item match with the search query. And when we talk about the search ranking involve adjustment in the relevancy score of the item based on various criteria. Personalization tailors search result to individual user on their preference and the past interaction. When we talk about sorting, the sorting option allow users to order search result based on their specific attributes. So yeah, these are all configuration we can do in the widget section.
Okay, so just one more thing in addition to this, like this is like all the configurations which can be performed based on attributes. So those attributes, as I mentioned, when you create attributes, that time you check the checkboxes if you want to allow them to be available for this rules under these rules to be configured. So yeah, once you check those checkbox like for available for site context, that checkbox was there when you created attribute. If you check that, then that particular attribute is available here, and based on that you can define the condition. If content type is this, then only you want to apply this rule. So that's the configuration that you are doing here, and what rule you want to apply. These are the rules you want to apply, and these are the feature you want to apply. So this is what you configure here in the while creating widget, just in enabling the feature whichever you want to enable, and just select these attributes based on what this feature you want to enable. Yeah.
So next is the analytics tab. So analytics tab in Sitecore Search Portal provides a central location to monitor and analyze the performance of your search implemented content. So you can find a detailed report of the key metrics like searches, visits, clicks, conversion to understand how user interact with your site. So by analyzing these insights, you can identify popular keyword, refine search algorithm, improvement content discovery, and ultimately and ultimately enhance the overall user experience. So this is very useful for people who need data to improve search and help users to find content more easily. As you can see in the screen, here is also all types of filter are available like day, entity, device, app type, country, channel, and visitor. So with the help of all these filter, we can filter out our data and we can get more results. So this is all about the analytics tab. Now Hanis
Yeah. Okay. So
will take care of the demo section.
yeah. Uh, Coming to the demo, I have already set up my site core with the Next.js. There is one page I have created, and I have added one component, Sitecore Search component, in which I'm gonna add this widget, whichever I have configured uh, uh, here on my search portal. So, for example, and to integrate this, I have made use of this developer. Uh, uh, l- uh, Developers resource. So you can see, like, if you it provides basically, you can see all the preview and the demo code that it provides, which you can use it when seamlessly easily integrate the search into your search in your application. So as we have already shown, like, the if you want your like search interface to be like as a recommendations, and then search bar, you can go with the preview search, and it provides like left navigation, right navigation. You want a basic search which is just showing all the results and filtering options, sorting options, you can go with search results. We will in And then it provides its the code either through CLI or manually. You can copy this code and uh, we can integrate into our application. So let's go to the site. I have made use of preview widget. So as you can see, uh, this it's preview basic widget. So similar to the one here uh, with suggestions and the search bar. I'm also having after just simply integrating it, I'm also getting this search bar and then suggestions and then search results as it showed it working results. Like if I search and then it's giving me the results for all. So let's go to the code. What things you have to do is it's okay. First, you have to install a couple of packages which Sitecore provides. So you can install this. You can run this command. So it will install the packages to create some uh, the internal components which it uses. So basically, if you want to use any feature, sorry, any preview component or any search basic component or anything from the documentation, it making use of spinners and some cards and all this in the background. So through these commands, you can just install and it will create all these components for you. Now to integrate, just first let's start with our component. In that component which I have created in my on my Sitecore, and I have created the definition here. Just go there, just two configurations here, import the widget provider and just wrap your component, that widget which you have created, either preview widget or search basic, search result basic. I have tried multiple, so I am just keeping one at a time. So for example, I have kept the preview search basic widget. So just wrap your preview search basic widget component within widget provider, and the widget provider you have to provide all this information: the environment, the customer key, which is your company ID hyphen domain ID, the API key, which you can again get from that API Explorer section. This is your component name, this is RFK ID, this is the ID of your widget which you have created. Once this is done, you can go to your previous basic component, and for this, either through CLI or through manual, you can just move take the code from there, the documentation. uh, as I mentioned, like it's making use of this internally, this multiple components, card component, and also that's why we need this all. We have to install those packages, and then it will be available to use. Now in the query, by default, it will not provide any source here. So what happens if you don't provide any source? Whatever uh, information it have crawled, like till now, everything, uh, like from n number of sources which you have tried in your search portal, so everything will be visible on the site. That's why, to avoid that, I have set this query with the source ID. So from that particular source ID only, from that particular source only, I will get the information. So if the source ID is same like is we saw earlier, uh, go to your source. So okay, so you can just go to your source and it will, you can find all your sources and search you by, there is just ID column, you can find it there. So that way you can integrate it. And the next one more additional thing which you have to do in your code is to add the language. So let me go back to the section code, and in the layout section or in any the top level file which loads before loading this component, you can go there and just add this page controller context dot set local language, so that your the source which from which you are crawling, for in which language you are crawling, basically that language you have to set it. Otherwise it will gives error and it will not fetch the information in and will not show up. So this is just basic three things you have to do. That's it, and your component, this component will be uh, visible on your website. Yeah. So we covered all these things like creating users, managing users, a walkthrough of a CEC portal, creating sources, content collection widget, all this stuff we covered. This is all about the for today's session. If any questions, you can ask.
I think there was a question that asked on the chat that
Okay, if we not mark attribute as required, then what happens? Then it will be available in your search result. Like if even if it is its value is not present from the source you are crawling, and that field value is not present, and you are mapping to an attribute, then also that that particular result item will be available. And if you mark it as required, it will not be.
It will
Is
be
that
available as a null or like as a blank, like how it is getting treated on
like
that situation.
if you have mapped like in the front end, if you have mapped that field to and you are showing on your this search or website, like on your website you are showing this component, it will come as an empty value either. It will not show any, like for me the images are not coming, for example,
Mhm.
showing me dummy images, like not breaking this component. But if you mark it as required, for example, this image field, and if you are not getting the URL of this image field, then it will not map and not show this result item.
Got it. And there's a one more question. Like, is it possible to set up this Sitecore search with Sitecore XP?
Add crawler for that. Uh, like XP, I mean, yes, I am also using. Okay, you mean not headless, or I didn't get you
Yeah,
exactly because I am using
yeah,
XP.
yeah. Not headless, the traditional one I'm talking about.
Okay, because it you can see like in a documentation and all, it provides you with the like headless related stuff only. So maybe we can try around with that because it's an API endpoint eventually, right? So we can try with that. Like at last, it's everything it's going to provide through API endpoint, search and recommendation or events and whatever. It will provide through a endpoint. So we can try with. So it would be possible, but but it will be like everything you have to create all those components manually, right? That is the only challenge. Yeah, maybe we can try and can let you know about this.
Mhm. Sure. And how you added the crawler for that? And let's say for the JSS based application, how you added the crawler? How the crawler get to know like what they need to search? Specific to JSS now I'm talking.
JSS, no, I mean, uh, from which perspective, like of this portal or on the code you are
Like
asking for?
right now you're showing the search results, right? So
Hmm.
how the crawler get to know like what need to be crawled, how you
Yeah, that's what
configured
we,
the crawler for
okay.
that?
So if I go to this crawler, uh, let me go to one of this API engine. Okay, so this trigger here I have provided, I want to crawl this sitemap XML of this website. This is my source. Now in document extraction, I have provided this extraction type, how I want to extract. So I provided JavaScript extraction mechanism. One second. And then it will ask me to add at least one tag. If you go to this tag, uh, this is the JavaScript code which it provides, like by default in this some few lines of code it will provide by default, and then in addition, if you want to extract any uh, particular tag value that you can extract, like that sitemap XML will have URLs of pages, and from that page if I want to extract like h1 tag, text or image
Mhm.
attribute field, so this all that's how you extract. It's pure JavaScript how you extract. See, I am extracting a
No,
meta
that I
property,
get
right?
it. Like how here you are just extracting the sitemap XML, but
Mhm.
I'm talking about basically you're showing an example, right? Where
Mm.
you're having some search results. That is not, I guess, so part of a sitemap XML, if I'm not wrong. So how you crawl that, like how you push that content, basically.
See, this is about sitemap XML, and if there is an API endpoint, maybe I have not added endpoint, but a- API endpoint I have not added there. It's just crawler. I have created empty crawler. I've not added a trigger. In the trigger, I have not added that endpoint. But if there is an API endpoint, we can provide the endpoint, like how we any dummy endpoint we can have, right? The for the API, just provide if it is get endpoint, we can get endpoint URL, and it will just fetch. And after fetching, what it does, it's nothing, like just provide the URL here to the trigger. It will trigger it, and whatever it will trigger after triggering, whatever information it get, that information it will simply get here in your document extractor. So if you go,
Got it.
yeah, so if you just configure document extractor here in response, you will get everything simply. After that, whatever you want to do here, how you want to map it, you can perform that thing. And just after mapping this trigger and document, you have to publish it and crawl it once to fetch, at least run one time and fetch the information.
Got it. Thanks, Anish.
Arun, if you want, we can connect offline and we can discuss in detail.
Sure, Praveen.
Thank you.
Any more questions? So I would, on behalf of everyone, thanks Anish and thank you Praveen for this awesome and wonderful session. And if anything, please reach out to Anish and Praveen. And if any other sessions or related to any sessions, you can reach us to us to Varalakshmi or Maisel Diptanu or any sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, guys. Really helpful here. Thanks a lot.